to the bucket. Layup, Johnson, good!
All right, welcome everybody as we're talking sports with me, Chris Powers, right here, and lots of sports to talk about. In a way, I mean, for colleges, they have like a lot of sports going on at one time, but as far as everybody else goes, it's kind of like almost a boring time of sports because of the fact you got LSU baseball, that's good, softball and all that stuff going on, but at the same time, right now, LSU baseball obviously is just not doing what we normally would see them do. So with that being said, it's like, what the heck's going on? NBA basketball, they're excited. They got 4 million viewers. They're averaging about 4 million. They had one at point time. They had 11 million viewers, but nobody else is watching the NBA. I mean, obviously with us, the Pelicans are not doing anything, so we don't watch it, but it's absolutely crazy the way that's working out. But let's talk about LSU baseball. We'll start it off with, right now, LSU would not make the NCAA tournament. In any field they have one poll that has them possibly in the last 4 in, and another poll has them in the last 4 out. So right now they're really struggling. The last time they didn't make the NCAA tournament was 2011. Now, 2020 don't count because nobody made the tournament with COVID. But 2011 was the last time they didn't make the NCAA tournament. Paul Maneri was head coach. They were 36-20 overall, 36-20, and didn't make the NCAA tournament, but they were 13-17 in the SEC. A lot of people seem to think that if they make the 14th, they win 14 games in the SEC, that they are going to be in the NCAA tournament. So I don't know. You know, I mean, Paul Maneri and the team won the 2009 national championship. 2010 was okay, but 2011 they didn't make it, and that's something that's shocking. And they've made the tournament every year since 2000. Okay, that has been so every year, but 06 and 11, really, because again, 11 nobody made it. So 06 and 11. The Tigers right now are 14th in the SEC at 9-15. 9-15. They just got off a sweep of South Carolina. That's good. Then they play Georgia this weekend, and bad news, Georgia's the number 1 team in the SEC. They're number 6 in the nation. They're playing really good baseball right now. Their former pitching coach doing a good job. But LSU has now won 5 in a row. That includes a midweek game before the South Carolina game, and then Tulane, of course, last night. So they're doing better, but is it enough to do it? Now, Jay Johnson seems to think that this team has to win 5 of the last 7 games to make it. No more midweek games now. The midweek games are gone after last night. So no more midweek games. They got Georgia coming up this weekend. They'll play the University of Georgia like we mentioned, and they're pretty good. Their RPI right now, LSU, depending on the RPI where you're looking at, they're about 55 to 67. They're going back and forth. 55 to 67. That's not going to make it. They are 6-8 against quad 1 games. That ain't good. That ain't going to make it either. They've got Georgia this week, and they've got Florida the next week. Those are 2 tough games, even though Florida is also not playing very good baseball. I mean, not as bad as LSU, but they're not ranked either. Florida and LSU are always ranked every year and always making the NCAA tournament, but this year they're not doing it. Now, they have to have a strong SEC tournament showing as well. This year, every SEC team makes it. However, it's because right now, they'd be almost, if it wasn't the case, they'd almost be to where they may not make the SEC tournament. But now, every team makes it, but it's a single elimination tournament. If they can go in and start and play in that and make a strong showing to make either the finals or the semifinals or what have you, there's a shot. But they're going to have to win the series against Georgia and Florida to make it. They're going to have to win those series. And that Georgia game is in Athens. So it's not here at LSU. This team has a 5.04 ERA in their pitching staff, and that's 13th in the SEC. They're struggling there. They're struggling in errors and all that. We're going to look at all that. Injuries are playing a role for this season, but it's not the main thing. They're just not playing good baseball. They're not good in fielding mainly, but everything else they're doing pretty good. They're not doing good in pitching and in fielding. So let's take a look at it. LSU is 8th in batting average. That's good. 4th in runs, 4th in hits, 7th in home runs. They have 80 home runs so far, but they're 7th in the SEC. We said that at the beginning of the year that LSU is going to struggle in home runs as far as, you know, the top and what have you, and they have. Their offense is not bad. They're 5th in RBIs as well. But here we go. They're 15th in errors. 15th. 15 in field percentage, 7th in hits allowed for their pitching. They're 16th in runs allowed, last place, dead last place. They're 15th in earned runs, and they're 7th in home runs allowed. So their pitching and their fielding has been a big problem. And I know, Jonathan, you always think of that LSU is going to, be good. Jay Johnson's a great coach. He put together number 1 recruiting class, number 1 transfer portal class, but all that on paper is not doing it for LSU right now.
Yeah, baseball's a tough sport, Chris, especially when every team truly they're getting up to play you. They're focused on beating you. The target is on your back. You've won 2 out of the last 3, and truly, you struck gold in the transfer portal. You couldn't have done better than Paul Skeens. I mean, the guy's the best pitcher on the planet right now. You bring him in the portal. There's so many pitchers that they brought in and had success with that truly you think every year Jay Johnson's just going to have this magic wand to wave over the transfer portal and bring in Tommy White. Unfortunately, it didn't work out this season, but credit to the team. They could have gave up, packed it in, look forward to next year. I'm gonna hold off. I'll sit out the rest of the season, and we'll just look forward to the future. But look, they believe they still have a chance to win. Obviously, this past weekend was against South Carolina, one of the few teams in the SEC that was struggling more than LSU this season. Going to Georgia. Wes Johnson does an incredible job with them. They're right at the top, number 1 in the SEC. Their home record and their away record speaks for itself. They're going to be a very tough team that might be looking towards the postseason. Look, there might be a chance LSU steals a couple games in Athens, Georgia, but it's going to be very tough. They know what's at stake. They want to ride their momentum towards the postseason. You spoke about the SEC tournament. All the teams get in. It is single elimination. LSU does have a small chance to still make a regional somewhere. But this definitely didn't turn out the way all LSU baseball fans thought it would be, or Coach Jay Johnson for that matter. He had a fiery press conference a couple weeks ago talking about the transfer portal guys from this season, how they overreached trying to get power in the portal. It just didn't work out. Didn't call out guys by name, but certainly you can tell by the lineup all these young freshmen that are actually getting starting roles towards the end of this season that exactly who Coach Jay Johnson thinks didn't work out, especially in the infield. And it's unfortunate for guys like Zach York that were very successful at their last stop, come to LSU, hoping to really make their mark on a very dominant program, and this didn't work out. And baseball is very hard. Like we mentioned, every team's giving you their best shot. So, yeah, we'll see.
I want to ask you a couple of questions. Are you shocked about the way this works this year? And number 2, I know there was a lot of people talking about it. This could be one of the worst LSU baseball teams, especially in this era since 2000. And my brother took exception to that. But the way I'm looking at it, it may not be that far off with their record and what have you. And depending on what they do, I don't think they're going to beat. They have a chance to beat Florida. I don't think they're going to win the series with Georgia. I think they'll either get swept or they'll lose 2 out of 3 if they're lucky. And SEC, the way they're playing right now, who knows? But are you shocked, and do you think that this may be the worst team since 2000 for LSU?
No, I don't think it's the worst team since 2000. This team was very talented on paper, and still to this day, if you were taking this roster, you would pick this roster on paper over a lot of the SEC teams. Unfortunately, they've had some bad luck with errors. Yeah, the pass balls, the catching spot. You can point to a lot of different reasons why they've been losing games. Haven't been able to put together an offensive and defensive series in one go. Look, the last 3 weekends, LSU has scored plenty enough runs to be winning these games. They got swept in 3 games. They scored 8 runs in a row. The pitching has certainly left them down. And leading up to the season, that was really what Coach Jay Johnson was talking about, how they had so many different arms and so many different guys that were coming in to get outs. They could match up lefty on lefty, righty on right. Whatever they wanted to do, they were able to do because they had a large depth of guys that were going to have to tinker through the bullpen the entire season to find what roles these guys should be. So I think that was most shocking to me, along with the defense of the infield. And look, this was last season when LSU won 225. That was one of the best defensive teams in LSU history, especially in the infield, and led by some of the same guys that were around. Yeah, right. You did lose the corners, and Jared Jones, not only did you lose his bat, but he was a true leader in the clubhouse, showed these guys how to come in and do your work day in and day out, what it takes on and off the field to be truly great. Like the homework that goes into it, the preparation, the scouting reports you have to go over every single night on these long bus rides home from these SEC schools. A lot went into this season, Chris. I put a little bit on Coach Jay Johnson, a little bit on Coach Nate Yeske in the pitching, but truly, I think the players didn't really show up and play to the max of their abilities. And when you have those letters across your chest, LSU provides every opportunity for you, the best resources on the planet, especially for college baseball, from nutrition to working out to the practice fields to the travel arrangements. It is the best of the best at LSU. So once you're getting paid, you're expected to handle yourself accordingly. And I just think it was a struggle for some of these guys to focus day in and day out. And it was not hard for the opponents to get up to play the national champions. I mean, every game was the World Series for their opponent, and it was just hard for these young guys in the beginning of the season to really focus in and day out.
Did you see? I mean, Mississippi State fans were running when they were playing LSU to get to their tickets because, I mean, LSU is still a huge draw. There's no question about that, but absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy, but crazy things. And speaking of LSU baseball, Dylan Cruz not playing Major League Baseball. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Struggling with the bat and what have you, and that's just absolutely crazy that didn't work out for him.
Yeah, and it's not too late, Chris. Sometimes you need a fresh start.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors that Dylan Cruz, they want him to make adjustments to his swing. He wasn't ready or willing to make those adjustments in his pre-pitch stance or what he read out the pitcher's hand. So, give this kid time. I mean, even Bryce Harper, the number one recruit in America out of high school, he was the next coming of Babe Ruth. He took time to develop into a professional hitter. Look, baseball hitting is the toughest thing to do in sports outside of hitting a hole-in-one in golf. And truly, sometimes it just takes time. The Nationals might not have been the spot for Dylan Cruz. Obviously, the talent's there. We've seen it. Baseball is beautiful because you have enough sample size to really weed out the good kids from the okay kids. And Dylan Cruz was a special good baseball player. So I'm still giving him time. But, yeah, I have been shocked that it hasn't worked out. Just like all the other LSU talent that has found their way to the pros, that it didn't work out immediately like it did for the past, like it did for Dylan Cruz.
Right. I think Correll's going to be the next guy that's going to be a big hitter. Just the way he bats, he's a natural hitter. I think he's going to be a big player in Major League Baseball. I really do. I think he's going to be an excellent player, and I look for big things for him. I don't know about Monster Milam. I don't know if he's going to be a big player in Major League, but I think Correll is going to be an absolutely unbelievable player, the next big player at LSU.
Yeah, look, give Milam a lot of credit. A guy that started at second base as a true freshman, played a lot of innings for LSU. He was a leader on this team. They needed his bat during the season. He kind of went in a slump, which might have led to some of the struggles offensively that LSU ran into because Jay Johnson had to move him around the lineup, trying to get him more comfortable, seeing more pitches. But, yeah, defensively, Stephen Milam was the best shortstop in baseball for the last 2 seasons. It took him, 5 weeks into this season. Didn't make an error last season as shortstop. So defensively, he was special. And I was a huge Alex Bregman fan.
Yeah.
And look, Coach Jay Johnson knows LSU lore. He's a historian of the game. He's well aware that Alex Bregman played shortstop at LSU. And Coach calls Stephen Milam the best shortstop to ever play the program. So, and look, He's like a 3-4 tool guy, very strong defensively, and he does have some power. Not a big guy. The stature isn't really there, so his strike zone's kind of shrunken for MLB. It's going to be tough for him to catch up to the high heat. These guys, everybody has a bullpen or two that can throw 101, 102 out the bullpen for the major league. So I agree with you. Derek Coryell, 5-tool guy. He can run. He plays the outfield like a dynamo. He dives for balls, hits for average. He also showed some power this season. He can lay down bunts, play small ball. Also a very instinctual base runner. Doesn't have the quickest feet, but definitely has enough speed to get around the bases. So, yeah, I think he translates pretty well to the majors. He's been consistent for 3 years now, or for 2 years for LSU. Would love to have him back for the purple and gold to see what he can develop into with another year of building that body. But he's definitely going to go pro. He's going to be a first-round pick in the Major League draft, and looking forward to seeing what he does representing the purple and gold. Such a great kid. Always says the right things in interviews. Great parents, and that's where it starts.
Yes.
So happy for Derek Coryell.
Met them last year.
Yeah.
They were about to do they were going to the ring ceremony. And I had an opportunity to meet, not ring ceremony, the national championship celebration. And I had an opportunity. They were coming out of a restaurant. And I said, I said exactly what you said. Good kid, represents LSU well, going to do a good job. I think he's going to be a big pro. There's no question about it. He's got another year. Will he stay here or transfer? That's the question. Don't know. But I think he will, no question. I think LSU will figure it out and have a better season next year, no question about that. All right, kind of a shocking news in Saints news. And how did you rank them in the draft? So many people, different people, grading them in the draft. We'll grade them coming up right here next as we continue talking sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan in the house, Marty's in the house, back after this time out here on Pelican Sports TV.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouget. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouget today.
Hi, I'm Pro Football Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk, and we're standing here in the Tony Clayton Center, and I just want to let you know, if you're involved in any accident, please call my friend Tony Clayton, 344-7000. That's 344-7000.
For a lot of people, going to the dentist brings anxiety. It can feel cold, rushed, even intimidating. We get it. That's why we built something different. We take the time, we listen, we know your name and your story, because you're more than just a patient. Your family. You don't have to dread the dentist. You just need the right one. Call or visit FougetFamilyDentistry.com to schedule.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody, as we continue talking sports with me, Chris Powers. Got lots, some things to talk about, and let's talk about the Saints. Saw this, and it's been on social media, and it's all over the website now. The Saints are looking for you. What? To try out? Huh? No, the Saints season ticket sale are on sale. Limited amount of tickets are on sale right now. Saints season tickets. That means that waiting list is gone. They say you can get on the waiting list. Well, if you're asking for season ticket sales now, that means you're not on the waiting list. The only way you get on the waiting list is if the tickets that they're selling are not where you want to sit. So a limited amount enough they're selling, but people want better seats maybe. A friend of mine had no problem moving his seats. He moved his seats. They're on the bottom level, and that's the bottom level. Moved his seats a little bit over. He had no problem with that. So, therefore, there you see that the Saints are struggling for the first time since 2006. Now, 05, of course, they weren't here, but 06 is when they started selling out. And they have made sellouts every year, 20 straight seasons. They're looking for the 20th year in a row. And right now, when they say that a limited amount of tickets are for sale, Jonathan, you and I have talked about that the season ticket, a lot of friends of mine are not getting their tickets anymore. They're done. They've been done now. This will be the second year. And that waiting list is getting down, and I think they're going to have a better year. Could they be back in the playoffs in 26? Possibly. They're in the last place schedule. Everybody's counting on Tyler Shuck so much to where the pressure's already on him. I mean, everybody is thinking that he's going to be the key for the Saints season. Who knows? There's a thing called the sophomore slump. There's also a thing called that defensive coordinators get used to your moves, get used to what your instincts are. If he gets flustered, he's rolling out to the right, or he'll go up the middle. He's going to run. If he continues to run like that, he's going to get hurt. A couple times last year, he got bumped up a little bit. So, we got better wide receivers, with adding on Jordan Tyson. I'll take a look at that in a minute, and Cornell Tate. So that's going to be two good wide receivers that are brand new. The defense have lost some players, but they're still solid. But Demario Davis is gone. And that's big because he played more than a role of just on the field and tackling and being instinctive. But now he's gone. And word is that he left, and just like I said it, the Saints had good money for him at as much or not more than the New York Jets did. I think he went to the New York Jets for sentimental reasons. He started his career there. Now he's going to end his career there. That's the word. That's the inside word that everybody's talking about in the National Football League. He knows the time is about done. It wouldn't shock me if he does 1 year in New York and it's over. Because, I mean, what is he, in 18th season this year? I mean, that's pretty – he's 35, 36 years old as a linebacker. Not a quarterback, a linebacker. And is very brutal. Very beautiful. Brutal. USA Today newspaper had the Saints at 23rd in the draft at a C+. But most of others had them looking good. Yahoo Sports had them at A-. Sporting News, NBC, and CBS News had them at a B+. So what is their grades? Let's take a look at it. I'll tell you what my grade is. Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State, C+. You know why he gets a C+? Even though coaches are raving about him, and it's true, he's had so many injuries in college, it's not even funny. It's not even funny how many injuries he's had. Is he going to be able to remain healthy? You had that many injuries in college? Now you're in the pros? Good luck. Good luck. This could be a guy that could be injury-riddled a lot. But I give him a C+. Like I said, very good talent, going to be a good possession and can stretch the field out if you want to, but that's going to be interesting to see what he can do there. Christian Miller, defensive line, second round, Georgia, B+. Very good player, interior defensive line, which means he'll be in the defensive tackle spot. And not only that, he's good on the run stop, and he's good at also putting pressure on the quarterback. In college, pro level will be totally different. We'll see. So it ought to be interesting. I give him a B+. Very good player. They said he can really come after you. Oscar Delp, round 3, tight end, University of Georgia. 2 Georgia players in a row. A B+ here, too. He's very athletic as a tight end. Very athletic. This could be great. But a lot of tight ends that were drafted, that were ranked higher than him, he got drafted before them. So they're trying to see what the Saints saw in him to pass on other tight ends. But he gets to go in the 3rd round. And Oscar Delp, very excited about it. We'll see what he can do for the Saints. Tight end, very good. Jeremiah Wright, round 4, wide receiver from North Dakota State, A-. And the reason A-, he's 6'3" and can run the 40 in a 4.34. Very fast, very tall, is going to stretch the field. I like that. Got a good vertical leap, too. That means that I think he'll be great in the red zone. He'll be super in the red zone. That could be a big, that could be I think that is the best pick the Saints had. Right there, Jeremiah Wright, available from North Dakota State. Interesting. Round 5, Lorenzo Styles, junior, wide receiver, a B. He's got speed, but that's about it. He's kind of an unknown in a way. So he gets about a B. Final grade, a B. 3.26 that I give him. 3.26. Jonathan, your thoughts on the draft? And also, are you shocked the season tickets are for sale?
No, I'm not shocked by that, Chris. We talked about it on the show before. I personally know multiple people that were on the waiting list for years, and they started getting phone calls right around this time a year ago. So we knew tickets were becoming available. We had season tickets for a long time. My family had 8. 2020 was too much for us to handle with the NFL, so we politely said no, thank you. And truly, I don't know if I've missed. I don't know if I've missed the experience.
Right.
The Superdome is obviously beautiful now, but beers cost $16. You can't get a hot dog for less than $6. It's a $200 event to bring a family of 3. So yeah, that's not including the tickets. Now getting to the draft. You can tell one thing by this entire offseason, much less this draft. The Saints are all in on Tyler Shuck. They believe that they have their franchise quarterback. This wasn't a placeholder guy that they drafted in the 2nd round, and they said, we'll see. They slow-played Tyler Shuck. They brought him in the second half of last season with a subpar offensive line. They knew he would struggle, at least at first, in his reads and getting the ball out quick. But fortunately for the Saints, they found out that Tyler Shuck's best qualities are the ones that they really can't teach. The ones that they flushed him out the pocket, his eyes are downfield, throwing off balance with a weird arm angle, and still getting the ball in windows that other quarterbacks simply cannot. We might look back at that draft last season, 25 draft, and say that Tyler Shuck was the best quarterback, or at least the second best quarterback that was taken. Now, with the draft, I thought the Saints would address defensive needs early. With that being said, though, I thought they did a good job of taking the best player available. They didn't move up to reach, which a lot of Saints fans like to crucify Mickey Loomis for. And they also picked an LSU guy. So Mickey Loomis kind of joked about it in his post-draft press conference with the media, saying, "Look, I didn't trade up, and I drafted an LSU guy, so there should be no questions at all." But of course, he was joking. Well, we'll get right into it. I thought. Excuse me, Jordan Tyson with the 8th overall pick. I'll give that a solid beat. And really, it's depending on how Tyler Shuck plays in this upcoming season that will determine the overall grade of this draft. But getting back to it, Jordan Tyson, the best skill set in this draft. At times, he looks like Jamar Chase on the field. Yeah. Fortunately for a lot of LSU fans, you get to see Sam Levitt throw a lot of passes to Jordan Tyson. And this guy is truly dynamic. He's fast with the football in his hands. He can jump up and locate. Very athletic. Has a brother who plays in the NBA for the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is a very talented family. He definitely has the genes to play out wide in the NFL. But you mentioned it, the injuries. Now, Cordell Tate was the first wide receiver taken in the draft. A lot of people said that Jordan Tyson was better than he was in college when he was on the field. And unfortunately, the best ability is availability. So he's got to be able to shake off that injury bug and be available on opposite side of Chris Olave, because that's what's going to stretch these defenses. Both these guys can run, and when they're healthy, they're very dynamic with the football in their hands. But you got to stay healthy. I thought the pick from Georgia, the defensive tackle, Christian Miller, I thought it was a little bit of a stretch. The guy only had like 3 sacks, I believe, in college, but they're going for the run stopper. The Saints also lost a couple depth guys from the defensive tackle position last season. So you still have Brian Bursi, spent the first-round pick on a couple years ago.
And they picked up his option.
You picked up Vernon, the guy from Texas last year, who didn't play a whole lot because he got hurt in the preseason for the Saints. So expected to have him back right in the mix with Christian Miller. So I'll give that a solid B with a definite high ceiling, depending on how. Look, you have Devin Godchow in that room too. Oscar Delp, I wasn't a huge Oscar Delp fan in college, but this guy had to replace Brock Bowers. In that offense, he had an option to go to the pros. He chose to come back to Georgia for his last year eligibility, so he's a loyal guy, likes to play on the line, good blocking tight end, Chris, which, look, we have Juwan Johnson. He likes to work the middle of the field. There's only one football to go around, so I'm happy the Saints picked up a blocking tight end. It didn't really work out with Foster Moreau so far. Taysom Hill has a huge question mark, that other tight end spot. So I'm okay with the Oscar Delp pick now that I've done some research, now that I've heard the breakdown on the tape. Here's where I think the Saints did a really good job with the draft. They traded away their 5th round to go get that Tyree Wilson, the edge rusher. That was the 7th overall pick in 2023 from the Raiders. I think that was a good move. Then you go get Jeremiah Wright from Auburn, mauler of a run blocker. He's going to have an instant chance, an immediate chance to challenge Cesar Ruiz for that right guard spot. So Saints fans had to be happy with that. You brought up Trey Lance. Great size, has a brother who played in the pros, obviously Trey Lance. He can fly for a big wide receiver. He can go up and get the football. Yeah. He's going to compete with Javon Vele for that 3rd wide receiver spot. You move into Lorenzo Styles. The Saints finally pick up a secondary player. This guy ran a sub 4.3 in the combine. His brother Sonny Styles was by far the best athlete in the draft. So truly another good family, athletic family. He'll compete in the back. The Saints are bringing back Jonas Sanker. They brought back the guy that they signed, Julian Blackmon from the Colts, who got hurt all last season. So he's going to compete for a spot. I don't mind the pick. He's also going to help you in special teams. Going to be a gunner on the outside, possibly a return guy with that great speed. He did have almost a 100-yard return last season for Ohio State. Then you get Barry Brown in the 6th round. LSU fans know about the return man in Barry Brown. Had 5 returns for touchdowns for Kentucky. Had 1 for LSU. You saw the dynamic one-handed catch that wasn't a touchdown somehow against Clemson in the first game of the season this year against LSU. He's going to compete in that return group immediately. And then T.J. Hall, a guy that kind of can do it all, jack of all trades out of Ohio, that secondary spot. A guy, you got to get help at cornerback. Does Kool-Aid McKinstry step into that true number 1 spot this season? You absolutely need him to. The Saints are paying him to. That's the role they expect him to get into. Quincy Riley had a fantastic rookie campaign. You figure he's going to be right in the mix of that top 2. So with all that being said, if Tyler Shuck plays really well this season, you factor in the Travis Etienne, you factor in the David Edwards signing. This offseason was completely designed to help Tyler Shuck. If he has a good season, then you say this offseason was an absolute success. You give it an A, maybe an A+.
Right.
But we'll see how Tyler Shuck plays right now as we sit here on 6 de Mayo, May the 6th. I will give the draft a solid B-, Chris, and optimistic about Tyler Shuck. Look, and Kellen Moore, he knocked it out of the park in his first season in the draft for the Saints. Can he repeat and get this team back in the playoffs? That's what all the Who Dat fans want to see.
Yeah, 5 years of not being in the playoffs. This would be 6. It's got to do. They got to do something here. This has got to be the not make or break season, but they got to do it. With this, they've got to be either close to the NFC playoffs or they got to be in it. And NFC South, they play in a division that last few years have been very weak. Last few years, ever since maybe 2021, Tampa dominated. Saints dominated before that. Carolina wins the NFC South this year, and they end in a tie. So. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. They're in a good deal. Word is, a couple things. Word is that one Cam Jordan still not signed, so that's shocking in a way. In a way, though, it seems like the tea leaves are reading that the Saints know and the rest of the NFL knows that he's not as talented as he think he is. His days are done. They're signing edge rushers and what have you, and then also another thing that looks like it's coming out is that Rattler will be traded. They're shopping Rattler around. They did sign Zach Wilson, the former big pick for the New York Jets. They did sign him out of Miami, 1-year contract. So there's a big possibility that Spencer Rattler will be gone and traded. I have no problem with that. I think he's got some talent. I just don't think he knows how to win. He didn't win in South Carolina. He didn't win in Oklahoma. That's why he got replaced. There's a reason he got replaced. There's a reason he went to South Carolina and didn't do anything. He's got a good arm. And good talent doesn't mean anything. But it's basically you've got to know how to win. You've got to win. And he threw a lot of interceptions and didn't win games, and that's huge. And that's why he didn't make it for the New Orleans Saints. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk. We got some other things to talk about, including WWE, LSU men's and ladies Tiger basketball, and softball getting ready for playoffs. The tournaments are all this week. We'll talk about that coming up right here as we continue talking sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan in the house, Marty's in the house, even Alan now is in the house. We'll talk about that coming up right here on Talking Sports with me, Chris Powers, here on Pelican Sports TV.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
Hi, I'm Pro Football Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk, and we're standing here in the Tony Clayton Center, and I just want to let you know, if you're involved in any accident, please call my friend Tony Clayton, 344-7000. That's 344-7000.
All right, welcome back, everybody. As we continue talking sports, we've got a lot of things to talk about. I know WWE, talking about that in sports, is kind of weird, but ESPN bought rights to it. They've got it on and all that, kind of going to be crazy. But WWE ticket sales, first of all, they were supposed to be in New Orleans for WrestleMania. And they did. TKO owns them, which also bought the UFC from Dana White. And TKO buys them and switches. After The Rock goes in New Orleans at an event on national TV and everybody went crazy, that WWE is returning WrestleMania to New Orleans. It would be the 3rd time. It had a great success there for the first 2. It was absolutely unbelievable. But then all of a sudden, TKO says, you know what? We made so much money in Vegas last year. Let's go back to Vegas. They're greedy. Let's go back to Vegas. Let's raise the tickets from $200 to $600. That's the minimum ticket, $600. So they did it. It was an absolute, I think, a horrible move. So they did it, but guess what? They struggled selling tickets to the event, to WrestleMania, the 2 days. They struggled. So they had to drop their tickets 25% discount. They dropped it left and right. That was embarrassing. I think things in Vegas are about to cool down massively because of the fact that people are just having problems going to Vegas because it's so expensive. Not only you lose your money at the casinos, your chances are not good at winning at casinos because the house always wins, but now you're paying buku money for a drink. A lady told me that she went and had a drink before a concert, which the tickets were $350 a piece and way up top. $350 for a concert she went to. Now, drinks, like she got a drink at the bar downstairs at the hotel, $55 for one drink. One mixed drink was $55. This is a drink, $55? And I threw it in his face. $55? You kidding me? What the hell is in that drink? I better be a whole bottle. I mean, even the bottle better be a case of freaking booze. $55 for one drink. Unbelievable. Now, they did sell 106,072 tickets for the 2 nights, but, again, the discount tickets, big time, 2 weeks before the show. They had to discount big time, 25% discount, to be able to go to the show and sell it out. Hall of Famers said that, from Wrestling Hall of Famers said that if it was in New Orleans, it would have been a sellout just like that. Just like that would have been a sellout. Now, WWE will host Money in the Bank, which will be in New Orleans on September 6th in the Smoothie King Arena. September 6th. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know, I don't watch WWE anymore. I watched it way back in the day, and I wasn't a big fan of it. I watched wrestling when I was small in Mid-South Wrestling, and I watched the WWE with Stone Cold, with Hulk Hogan. In fact, that documentary, Hulk Hogan, on Netflix is good. I watched it. It's good. And but anyway, I stopped watching WWE years ago. So anyway, that's the deal on that. And we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But anyway, WWE. Now, next year they're going to where they're going next year. It's overseas. It's going to be overseas next year. Saudi Arabia. They're going to Saudi Arabia next year. And in 2027, what they do in 28, word is they could go to Nashville. Now, they were supposed to go to Nashville in 27, but Nashville's new stadium may not be quite open yet, so that's why they moved it to the Saudi Arabia next year. And then in 28, well, who knows? Nashville, when they build their stadium, they're going to be a big part. They're going to be a big player in big events. College football, they're going to be a big player in Super Bowls, big player in WWE, and all those and Final Fours and all that. They're going to be a big factor and taking some away from the New Orleans, Atlanta maybe. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. Speaking of Live Golf tournament canceled in New Orleans, but word is that they said they're going to do it in the fall. There's too many things going in the fall. I doubt that's going to happen. And word is that their main backer backed out, and word is that Live probably is going to fold. And this is shocking because there's some golfers that are going back to PGA, but some golfers are not because of the fact that that's why people left. They're not happy with it. A lot of people left. A lot of golfers left to go to Live because, like Phil Mickelson, but Phil was the most outspoken person that he was, no, I'm not going to that. I mean, PGA is unbelievable. Now, Phil Mickelson burnt his bridge. He's not going back to the PGA. A lot of people said that. That's done. That bridge has been burnt. It's gone. It's washed away. It's not going to happen at all anymore. But Live Golf Tournament was supposed to be in New Orleans. Now it's been canceled, and word is they're going to try to do it in the fall. But, again, there's word is that they're going to be dropping from period. All right, LSU men's basketball. Will Wade struggling in transfer players. Struggling. Last place he was at one point in transfer players. So what is he going to do now? He's going to the international route. And right now, on a podcast he did yesterday, says they've got one spot open for LSU basketball. Other than that, every player Jonathan, get ready because we're going to have problems pronouncing these names.
Yeah.
Every player is going to be an international player for LSU basketball. They could not get transfers to come. Maybe it was because it was just too late that LSU waited to get him in because they had to wait for North Carolina State. But word is that he is leaning totally on international players for next year. Are you shocked by that?
No, I'm actually not shocked at all, Chris. Huge untapped pool, especially if you had the resources to go over there and scout these people. You set up the networks where you know which players are actually worth taking. Look, the game has grown tremendously worldwide. So I'm not shocked that this is where he had to go. Like you said, super late start coming over from NC State. Not to mention the late start, but there was a little bit of baggage there where it might have had some hard feelings. National media did not do Will Wade any favors for how they portrayed the whole firing or quitting or whatever happened at NC State. Made it seem like in the middle of the night he wrote a post-it and stuck it on the AD's door. But yeah, it was by email allegedly. So Will Wade said he's comfortable with how it ended, but unfortunately, the narrative around the story was kind of negative for Will Wade. So I look for it kind of to readjust in the next couple seasons. But look, if you think Will Wade's not going to be competitive in the SEC this coming up season, you're mistaken because they're expecting to go on the road and win some games.
Yeah,
and Will Wade knows the recipe, and I think he's going to get it done.
Yeah, because right now, I can't remember the last American player to win MVP in the NBA. There's all international players. SGA, which I didn't know, is an international player.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But so there's so much international play in NBA basketball. I'm like you. I got no problem as long as they're good. I got no problem with international players playing at LSU. But the same thing about it is Will Wade getting off to a slow start in recruiting and getting transfers here and getting recruiting here. But like we said, again, we had talked about that on this show, that it was taking time for them to hire a new coach. Well, finally they hire one because Will Wade was still involved with North Carolina State. So they hire him. They come away from North Carolina State, and he's here at LSU, and so far he's struggling bringing transfers in. LSU Lady Tigers are on the opposite end. They're not. They're adding depth all over. LSU has 8 players that were on the All-American, the McDonald's All-American. That's pretty good. 8 players of their team. 8 players. They have 11 players that are returning, 11 players total. So 8 out of the 11 players are McDonald's All-American, former All-Americans. 6 returners, 3 transfers, 1 freshman, and 1 international player. And LSU is close to working a deal out with the University of UConn. UConn, the Lady Huskies, they're close to working out a deal with them to play in Nashville, of all places, at the Bridgestone Arena. So that could be coming out in the next couple of days. A couple of other schedules have been done. They've added some ACC games and stuff like that. But again, Big Ten games. But that one they're waiting on. They could sign for UConn. That would be next season. That would be huge. They also got Texas home and away again. They got Iowa point guard Jada Williams. She's very good. Very good at what she does. Lola Lampley for the University of Florida has transferred. She also could play point guard. Tennessee Tech Chloe Larry and Spanish forward Noah Morrow is going to be playing at LSU this year. Michaela Williams and Malaysia Fulwale also returned for LSU Lady Tigers. So that looks good. Lady Tigers are looking good. They've restocked. They needed to. Because like I said, I think they're top 8, but I don't think they're top 4 right now. I don't think they're top 4. Softball tournament begins this week. And SWAC, Southern University, was the number 2 seed. They're playing as we speak. They're going to be playing this week. They have a shot to win it. They won undefeated at home games. Undefeated in home games this year. So that's pretty impressive for Southern University right there. They were the number 2 seed in the tournament. LSU softball playing in the SEC tournament this week. They're number 8 seed. I don't know how good they're going to do. SEC is loaded, of course. They're projected 13th seed in the NCAA, though. So that's good. And it probably will host a regional, but not a super regional. Okay, so we don't know where they'll be super regional. We don't know where anything's going to happen. But once again, the softball looks, again, will they make the World Series over in the Women's World Series over in Oklahoma? Don't know. But again, once again, they're projected to be the number 13th seed in the NCAA tournament right now. Depends on what they do in the SEC tournament, which is this week, and we'll see. Ted Turner has died. Word is that Ted Turner, the media mogul, has died. And that's sad. He was the former Braves and owner of the Hawks. He owned the Atlanta Braves. They had the Ted Turner Field for a long time. He owned TBS, TNT, CNN, and the WCW. He changed a lot of things with wrestling, took on Vince McMahon, and was winning in ratings until they got a new promoted writer at WCW, and it ruined everything. Hulk Hogan then left and all that stuff, but they were doing good. They started the NWO, which was a genius move, and it revitalized Hulk Hogan's career. It was big, and WCW, Ted Turner, gave him permission to do whatever you want. But then they hired a new head writer, and it just ruined everything. He was stupid. I don't know who hired him and what have you. Then Ted Turner eventually sold everything and became the largest landowner in Montana. He owned several land in Montana and several, I think it was the largest landowner in the United States. But he died at the age of 84 years old. I think it was 84 years old he died, 86. And he had what Phil Mickelson has, Lewy Bodies dementia, which, by the way, Phil Mickelson has canceled now 2 majors, the Masters and the PGA tournament next week, the PGA Championship. He's canceled it. Word is he's got health issues in the family. He doesn't list of what it is. Could it be his wife, I think, who's had cancer? Could it be something major is going on that Phil's not talking about? Of course, he was one of my favorite golfers, and I know some people don't like him because he's very outspoken. But, yeah, Phil Mickelson has canceled some things, which is interesting to see what happens with that. All right, NCAA coaches proposing 4 changes to the sport. They want to end conference championship games. Jonathan, it seems like you and I were talking about that, right?
Right, yeah.
They want to end conference championship games. I agree with that. You?
Yeah, I mean, what's the point? What is the point these days when you have the playoffs at the end, and really it can only hurt you if you're a team, say you're in the SEC and you have 1 loss. If you're a no-loss SEC team, what's the point of going to play an SEC championship to risk now picking up your first loss in a game that really, I mean, other conferences don't have conference championships, so they don't have that extra game. Not to mention the injuries that get put on players, the risk of injury, I should say. Look, it's a money grab, obviously. They make a lot of money on conference championship games, but they still have to figure out scheduling and strength of scheduling and how they affect playoff versus where they have to worry about these conference championships. Now they can make more money.
Why we have it in baseball, not in football?
Right. Yeah, right.
I mean, we told you what the Tier 1 LSU's record is, 6-8 against Tier 1 teams. Why we don't have that in football? Because it's money and it's politics. Isn't that unbelievable?
No, very believable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, coaches want to reduce open weeks from 2 to 1. 2 to 1. That means 1 open week, that's it. That's what it needs to be. That way you shorten the regular season up. You shorten the regular season up with that because now the only thing is they want more playoff games, and I don't agree with that. I think they have enough right now, if not too much, too many, because there's teams that should make the playoffs. And, again, it's human element. You got to go back to your computer in my book. You got to go back to the old computer days because right now, human element, well, Alabama needs to make it because they're Alabama. Nick Saban's not there anymore. It doesn't matter. Nick Saban, Alabama's not Alabama from the old ways. They're not. Nobody's going to be Alabama anymore. When you got an Indiana that wins a national title, you're not doing that anymore. And I had friends of mine telling me, well, because Mark Cuban is the one that did that. He helped win Indiana. Money don't always say it. I know it. You think it does, but it don't always win national titles. And they said, well, no, it did with them. He didn't give us money. He's now come out and said he hadn't given much money to Indiana as everybody thinks he has. And number 2, go ask Oregon. Why haven't Oregon won a national title? Phil Knight has pumped in buku money for Oregon. That's his alma mater. Why haven't Texas? When's the last time Texas won a national title? With Vince Young. When's the last time A&M won a national title? I think when Moses was walking the earth. So you don't always win. You got to have that perfect, combination of transfers, but they've got to be able to be seasoned. It took a while for Indiana for the transfers to work. But anyway, so they want to reduce the open weeks from 2 to 1. I like that. They want to allow postseason games the same weekend as the Army-Navy game. I thought the same thing. It's great, and look, I love it. Army-Navy, that's a great tradition and everything like that. I understand. But why are we not having college football championship playoff games on that weekend? Because it's Army-Navy game. It doesn't matter. I'm sorry. You got to start the schedule. NFL don't wait 2 weeks before the playoffs start. You got to start the playoffs right there. So the conference championship should be gone, and you should start the playoffs right after the last regular season game. But again, you got to look at that too because it's colleges. They're taking final exams that week. But they don't care about that. These moneymakers don't care about final examinations. We don't care that they're in school. I want the money. I want the money. We need the money. Also reducing the number of days between games to 6, from 7 to 6, which means they can play games on a Saturday and on a Friday. But in the NCAA right now, it's got to be 7 to 7. So if you play on a Friday, if you play on a Saturday, you can't play on that Friday. You got to wait. You got to have an open week and then play on like a Tuesday or then a Friday or something like that. And again, also they want to expand the playoffs. It's something you wanted to do because it's more money. And ending the fiscal season the second Monday in January. That's what they want as well, meaning that the off season begins on that second Monday in January. And that's national title is still not going on, but they got to do. To me, I think they need to move the national title game to January the 1st. They need to make it to where January the 1st is a national title, no later than January 2nd or 3rd, in my book. But that's, in my book. Money is the big object here, and they don't want to hear anything else. All right, when we come back, we'll wrap things up here as we're talking sports here with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan in the house, Marty in the house, Alan in the house. Back in a moment right here on Pelican Sports TV.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
Hi, I'm Pro Football Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk, and we're standing here in the Tony Clayton Center, and I just want to let you know, if you're involved in any accident, please call my friend Tony Clayton, 344-7000. That's 344-7000.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
All right, welcome back, everybody, as we're talking sports with me. Jonathan, you watching the NBA playoffs at all?
Oh, yeah. Bad punch, Chris. You caught me off guard. Yeah, a little bit of playoffs. Obviously, LeBron James' final run or whatever they're doing with the Lakers has been interesting. SGA, I think he's the best player on the planet right now for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Just unstoppable with the basketball. Yeah, I don't really watch a lot of NBA, but the playoffs are interesting. These guys, they're not sitting out to rest or whatever. There's no load management in the playoffs, so you're getting the stars play. And truly, these guys are remarkable. I mean, it's so big, fly around the court, and then they can shoot like they have a bullseye laser attached. So, yeah, I've been watching a little bit of playoff basketball, especially with no football going on right now. And LSU, you gotta pick and choose when you watch the baseball team. So I found it interesting. I don't know who's gonna beat the Thunder right now, Chris. I think they're really deep.
You're one of 4 million people that are watching. They are bragging about that.
Yeah, right.
And we got 4 million people watching about. Are you kidding?
And I have not watched an entire game. I've seen bits and pieces of multiple games. Yeah, Boss Man brings up Wemby and the San Antonio Spurs. That guy is an absolute freak in nature. Yeah. The way he's able to block shots with those long arms. I don't think kids are even going to have to jump to dunk in the NBA starting in like a couple years. They might think about raising up that goal another foot and see if guys can dunk on the 11.
And move the three-point line to half court.
Yeah, make that a 4-point shot.
I know, because it's absolutely crazy how many three-point shots they take per game. I mean, absolutely 70. I kid you not, 70. That's absolutely ridiculous. But NBA playoffs going on right now, and they're bragging that the viewership is up 4 million people.
Yeah.
The NCAA's average 11 to 12 million. And you're averaging 4 million, and you're happy with that? Wow. Louisiana teams that look like they could make the NCAA tournament, Louisiana Tech, they got to win their conference, no question. But they have a shot to make it if they can play good in their conference. Not an outright bid. I think they're going to have to win their conference. Southeastern, same way with them. Tulane has a shot of making it, possibly, even though they lost to LSU last night. Nicholls State has a shot, but they've got to win the Southland Conference, and Southern has to win the SWAC. At one point, Southern won 10 games in a row. They're wrapping their season up this next weekend, like all the other teams. The problem is rain. This time of the year, you're going to get rain. And right now, there looks like it could be rain this weekend. We're going to do the broadcast on the radio, but it looks like Southern will be playing in rain this weekend. Well, they won't play it. But, Coach told me that, that now conference tournaments – are requiring you to have 100%. Jonathan, I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
100% of your games have to be played. So that means that Southern had a midweek game scheduled last night against Jackson State that was not going to count, just a filler. Jackson State canceled because they've got games to make up in the middle of the week.
Right.
And now, that's going to have to be made up sometime. But when you come in this time of the year, you've got opportunities where you're going to get rained out. This weekend, Saturday, 80% chance of rain.
Yep.
So it doesn't look like you're going to get anything with that. Speaking of baseball, LSU baseball will be playing in Las Vegas next year. 4 games in Las Vegas. Now, I'm wondering where it's going to be, though. Don't they have a AAA team in Las Vegas?
Oh, yeah. I think they actually AAA team. They got a couple colleges out there, too, that have nice fields.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's going to be, Chris. I know
do the Major League Baseball stadium?
They might have it at the football stadium, right.
Oh, the Major League Baseball stadium's not ready until 28.
Right.
So there's not many stadiums that are big enough to host a baseball field, and Allegiant Field is one of them. They're not big enough. The stands are too close.
Right.
So I know it won't be Allegiant, but it's like, to me, don't go to Vegas if you don't have a stadium that's worth playing, even though you don't probably attract a lot of fans. They did it in Houston. They did it in Dallas and Arlington, and they haven't attracted a huge amount of fans. It's not like you fill the stadium up.
Yeah.
So not like Savannah baseball. Can you believe that?
Right.
Oh, my goodness. And they played in Clemson. Clemson's stadium is big enough to have a Savannah baseball, and they did, and it was unbelievable.
Well, they was in Dallas, I believe, just filled up the Ranger Stadium, brought out Dude Perfect. There was a whole hoopla. Hey, Savannah Bananas is doing it right. And look, LSU baseball is probably just making the trip so Coach Jay Johnson can go see some high school kid out in Vegas prep or somewhere, meet his parents and get a handshake. That's the levels Coach Jay Johnson works at.
No question about that. That's absolutely unbelievable. And like I said, I'd understand if the Major League Baseball stadium was going to be built by then, but it's not. So, again, where do you have it at? And like we said, it could be – because I didn't realize, they closed the UNLV football stadium down. I was in that stadium to do a football game at one time, and they closed that stadium down. UNLV plays their football games at Allegiant Field, which is crazy.
Wow.
So anyway – But anyway, so that's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. LSU baseball to play in Las Vegas, and a possibility of LSU women's basketball playing in Nashville against UConn. I don't know why they picked Nashville, the Bridgestone Arena, to play that, because now it looks like Nashville could get Memphis Grizzly games next year in Nashville at the Bridgestone Arena, which is in downtown Nashville, Tennessee. Well, that'll do it this week. Talking sports with me, Chris Powers. We'll catch you back again next week right here. Thank Jonathan, thank Marty, thank Alan in the house. We'll be back here next week as we're talking sports with all the stuff that's going on right here on Pelican Sports TV.